got a chance to see the Bikeriders with Austin Butler and Jodie Comer. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me as we rant about movies, comic books, television shows, and a whole lot more. I am Frank Zenka. I am your host. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as an independent filmmaker. I just got back from working on a film with Crispin Glover, and hopefully next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, I have something else lined up. Keeping my fingers crossed on that one. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Bikeriders. Before we do, remember to give me a like and a subscribe. Give me that thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you can. I am trying to draw the channel out. This may be too late for this because my campaign for Mythlords ends tomorrow, but I'm recording this at night, so by the time I edit it, it might even be over. Not sure. But anyway, today will be the last day for Mythlords. We are ending the campaign at 3 p.m. EST on the 21st. So anyway, this is my board card game for Classic Monsters with artwork by Mark Spears. The link below will have in the description below has the link if it's still available. If not, then I guess we might have late pledge in the future. Anyway, let's jump into the Bikeriders. Got a chance to see that tonight with a very limited audience. There's very few people there. And, of course, the guy next to me had to be on his phone, not all at once, but intermittently. And I kind of understood why, because it was a very slow film, and he was looking to fill the time. So I just did one of these. So I didn't see it. I just didn't feel like fighting tonight. And it's going to be rare when you hear me say that. But, so this is based on a true story. It is from what I gleaned from the film itself, one of the past members went to college and ended up became a photojournalist and ended up taking pictures and recording some interviews with some of the Bikeriders, and specifically the wife of one of them, who was played by Jodie Comer. And, of course, she's been in a pile of things now, but Killing Eve was kind of her breakout. This was written and directed by Jeff Nichols. Of course, again, he took it from that book, so it's probably very loosely based on a true story. The only thing I recognized that he did was Mud. He wrote and directed Mud, which is probably how he got these actors to come in, because Mud was with Matthew McConaughey, was fairly well received in the Hollywood community. It is also slow. I was kind of hoping for something a little more along the lines of a mafia movie, kind of like Sons of Anarchy type of biker movie. We didn't quite get that here. We got a very character-driven, almost like a character study. So there's very little action here, even though it kind of shows that in the trailer. But what we see in the trailer is not really what we see on the film itself. Yes, the pieces are there, but they're so spread out that it doesn't have this high pace. It has a very, very, very slow pace. Very slow. I really wasn't that enthralled. The characters were likable, but not endearing. I really didn't care one way or another. I wasn't attached to them. And they were kind of all over the place in how they acted and reacted to certain things. And the villain of the film, we don't even get a come up. I'm not going to give you really any spoilers, but I am going to tell you this: if you are expecting a a resolution to the villain, you're not going to get it. So you should probably know that going in, because that is very. I was a put off for me. So like because we're dealing with gangs and things like that, when we dealt with West Side Story, and we had the death of one of the guys, one of the leaders. We had Natalie Wood's character kind of jump in there and made them all realize that what they were doing was wrong. We don't get that here either. So there really is no resolution to the villain getting his comeuppance. We don't even get a resolution to peace. None of it. It's just kind of left completely open. And I'm not a fan of that at all. So you're getting kind of the middle of a movie, but you're basing it purely on the life story of one guy. And so I don't want to tell you who, as I'm not going to ruin that portion of it. But yeah, so one of the main characters, the main characters are who pretty much you see in the thing. There's a few, because you have Tom Hardy, and you have Austin Butler, and you have Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead, who is also from Boondock Saints. And then you have Michael Shannon, who played Zod in Superman, among many, many other roles that he's had. And and then you have Brucey, played by Damon Herriman. He looks familiar, but I couldn't really place him. But yeah, so the director really hasn't done a whole lot. He has done some films, but nothing that you're going to recognize. Even if you recognize Mud, that's going to be the only thing you pretty much recognize in his credits. So again, we're following the Tom Hardy's character create the this thing from scratch. This motorcycle club, a la Sons of Anarchy, and then we kind of see it grow and grow beyond what he can control. He wants Austin Butler to take over for him, and because he wants to retire from it. And so there's this not only a power struggle. There is a power struggle because you have a lot of people that come in through other chapters and things to that effect. And you have this one guy that's a kid, and he really doesn't have any morals or anything else. He has no morals, no loyalty. He's just out for power. And he'll do it any way he can do it. Any way he can get his hands on that power, then that's what he's ruthless. So, we get a few good scenes. The motorcycles are cool. But that's about the extent of it. It's goes from, them kind of growing together and then them growing apart. And that's the basis of the whole entire film. We don't get into any criminal activity outside of the one thing that you see in the trailer. So there's not a whole lot of action to it. So it's kind of disappointed. So I don't know. For me, unless you like character study films, if you do, then this is obviously for you. But where the Henry VIII film, that was about history. It's still about somebody's life. But, we get to see this arc and this resolution. And I'm not sure that these characters really have arcs. It's kind of like they just live and they just die. I mean, I didn't really see any changes. There's only one guy that really changes. And he becomes a cop, a motorcycle cop. And they do show pictures of like the real life people. Jodie Comer does a great job. The accent, she is like the queen of accents, because she also played a Russian in Killing Eve, and and then she played in I forgot what the one it was with the medieval one, where she's raped and that kind of thing. So yes, I did, and she played like a old English accent there. So she's really good at that. She's a great actress. There was also Free Guy that she was in and stuff like that. I think she can pull off. I think she has huge range. And I think Austin Butler has huge range. It's good that he's finally taken off, because I saw him in a bunch of TV shows that all kind of failed. The first time I ever saw him was like in the Carrie Diaries or whatever, where it was the prequel to Sex and the City. That's the first time I ever saw him. And that thing failed. And then he played in a medieval TV show with Matthew Rhys Davies, and that failed. And then naturally, now that he got Elvis, now he's on the rise. And good for him. I think he played the quiet guy, the quiet power guy. I think he played that very, very well in here. And I thought that he and Jodie Comer did a good job of... there really wasn't any chemistry, but there was no chemistry on purpose. The chemistry was on her side and not his, because she would have done really anything for him, and he was like, whenever he got into a problem, he's like, I'm out of here. Bye. So I don't know if they had any kids or anything like that. I didn't see that in the film. But yeah, and Michael Shannon's character was a little bit off kilter. Norman Reedus' character comes in later, and the fake teeth they used for him looked fake. I would not have done that. I would have, painted them a little brown, but that's about the extent of it. I don't know. I'm really up in the air. I liked parts of it. The acting is phenomenal. The directing was okay for the most part, but the script, I think, was a little lackluster. And, when Tom Hardy plays this very reserved type character, which he's done in the past, you're kind of wanting him to say a little bit more. It's kind of the same character that he played with the Bootleggers. I've got the name of that film. That film was actually very good, but it's almost the exact same character. And that's probably why they chose him, is because they wanted that type of leader, that quiet type of intense leader. But we've already seen that with him. So I thought actually maybe he was miscast, because we've already seen it. So anyway, on a scale from 1 to 10, based on the acting alone, they really wanted this to be like a mix between Goodfellas and Rebel Without a Cause. That's how I saw this movie, because Rebel Without a Cause, there was also the Marlon Brando film about him on the bike, so they took pieces. You actually see that in the film, but it was more, I think, more of the Rebel Without a Cause kind of situation. And then I say Goodfellas because she narrates it all the way through, kind of like what they did with Goodfellas. So, we're seeing all this through her eyes for the most part. And yeah, so, it's about a whole bunch of, middle-class guys on bikes, if not lower class. I don't see them, they never really made any money that I could tell. Like, even though they had all these charters, they still had dues. They didn't, even though they were the main one. Like, so we don't get to see what we kind of see in Sons of Anarchy. And I think that was to the film's detriment. But anyway, I'm going to basically say it's a 7 out of 10. It's better than average because it is like an artsy film. I probably will not see this film again. But I can definitely give it to the actors for this. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know if you guys have seen it, if you liked it, if you felt the same way as me. Were you bored? Was it just a little bit too slow? Or was the pacing just right purely because it's a, character-based film? let me know, because obviously we're going to see, the opinions all over the place. Of course, the opinions of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes are in the 80s. So I want to see what happens. When I got there was no audience score. So I'm waiting to see what the audience thinks of it. Anyway, remember to give me that like and that subscribe. Give me that thumbs up and subscribe if you can. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And remember, too, that it is my last day for Myth Lords, where you're playing as the classic monsters: Frankenstein, werewolf, Frankenstein. I mean, I said that twice. Dracula, Creature from the Deep, etc. Then there's the other characters like the Mummy and Mr. Hyde and the Bride of Frankenstein and things like that. And then we have the expansion of Wizard of Oz, where you're playing as Dorothy or the Wicked Witch from the West. And then there are other witches in there as well. And we have Toto in there, and the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow, and stuff like that. So check out the link in the description below. And if it is still available by the time I release this, don't hesitate to jump in. All right, I will see you guys on the next video. Check out some of my other videos before you leave, and I will see you on the next one. All right, bye.